YouTube, this is Stash, the forbidden vlogger, coming back at you with a short or semi-short, or I don't know, depending how long I feel like talking, follow-up to one I'd done about the black operatives and General Cocke and stuff. I got some responses from some guy, Skywalker. Good to hear from you. If you're really a war vet and really the godfather of Cocke, I apologize for insulting you with my imitation of him, which I didn't think there's anything wrong with it. I think we should talk up veterans and stuff, but you know, I think you'd said something like some things we shouldn't want to know. I'm not into that, and I also think I gave him praise as an artist in a certain way, as being a badass, being the man, king of the black operatives, and a cool guy, and a patriot. So if you're really his, you know, a guy that was a friend of his and he helped you out, then God bless you. If you're some guy that works for the banks, or you're an army kid in a laptop, then you can go to hell, right? Now, I don't know what you meant. You said something about tape or something. I don't mean tape. There's a deposition by the general that's all over the place, and it's in some books, Black 9/11, and a website that I left a link to, an economist guy from England. Now, I'll say this, discussing any of espionage and war is all political, 100% political. Now, there's an old book that gave, for instance, by a left-wing writer, kind of implied that, here's the book there, sir, by the way, Crimes of Patriots. The late Whitney wrote about Cocke, and he didn't get anything on him, even he admitted it. He tried to, but he implied that he was doing dirty deals within the black bank, Guggenheim Bank, right? But that's political. Now, you know, was there any wrongdoing? I don't know. I mean, it's espionage stuff now, but I would say that they were going after him partially because he was American patriot, pretty much more in the moderate to right wing, I believe he was, right? Or he certainly was, you know, he was in it. He was in deep. Now, that deposition itself that I was referencing that I think you can get still on that Deep Black File site, hats off to that guy, he's interesting. They had no wrongdoing on General Cocke. It's just that he was referencing the Super Black Bank, the Hammer Project, which is very interesting. And what I mean by political is, you know, what happened to MacArthur? You know, the press and stuff, and Truman, good old Truman, dumped him. That's why you're saying we should just shut up. Everything, you know, that's it. The guy was a war hero, and there wasn't any espionage or politics involved. Well, that's not the real world. And that the fact that goody-goody President Truman fired MacArthur, who would have went on and won the Korean War, shows politics. That shows politics. Did Truman really need to blow away Japan when they were going to surrender anyway? You know, and as citizens, as a real duty to soldiers and spies, you know, the issue's got to be brought up, and it's going to get dirty. The discussion's going to get nasty. And I think people got to start talking up these things. I mean, they have been, but not just look at Fox News and then just talk about it with your buddies and shut up, or look at CNN and get left wing this way and you get right wing that way. Meanwhile, you know, how long are our troops? How long are the boys going to be deployed? You know. I don't think Schwarzkopf was for the invasion in 2003. So generals and spies and things like that are it's unfortunately not all about patriotism and valor 100%. There's politics involved. And a lot of generals are, you know, not patriots like Cocke probably was. I mean, I'm saying probably because, you know, because of the other duties he had, there's a cloud around that in some way. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the guy got shot in the firing squad and survived it, and he's a hero. Everybody comes at it with their own point of view. I just did a few vlogs. You might notice Skywalker. If you're real, I salute you for your service. If you're some kid with a laptop working for a bank or or the army, fuck off, right? I like that. You come, you SOB, don't make fun of Cocke. I like that. I like that. Thank you for your response. If you're real, you get what I'm saying, Skywalker. So there's another guy, Ed Wilson. He worked in the Navy, and then they recruited him. He was a money man, and he knew what he was doing, and the black operative sense. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the Reagan administration let him hang with charges that he sold plastic explosives, I believe, to Libya. But maybe he was doing, off the books work for the government agencies, alphabet agencies they call them, black operative work, CIA, whatever. Wilson was into it, and they hung an arm, and he died in prison. And maybe he was doing stuff for them. There's an excellent book, by the way, Prelude to Terror. You should get that. Get these from the library. Don't just be looking for the Cocke deposition. That's internet crap. I agree with you on that. Sort of. But it's nothing but a real deposition. There's no tape. If you're trying to get me on that, there's no tape. It's just a deposition that's all over the place. And there's another book called Black 9/11, which talks about the deposition of Cocke, and that book, and another book by Rodney Stich, paints Cocke in a very positive light, you see. And it goes deeper than that. Ones that books I haven't even gotten a hold of, that are hard to get a hold of. I think it's Iron Curtain Over America, and some more, darker books or whatever. But that let's just say the general wasn't a lefty, I would say, all right? So it's like, this has gone on, and this is what's going on right now. There's like, wars for power within these agencies, William Colby went at it with Angleton. There's a book about him, He's a guy that worked, for the country in the black world, in the world of espionage. And of course, the entire country went after Colby, every demonstrator, whatever. And at one time, he even replied. He said, "Well, if I didn't use my skill to train paramilitaries in Vietnam, well, more of your boys would be going in." You see, so I'm not of the opinion that somebody helps you and you go to West Point and you serve and you get shot and you shut up, especially in light of, for instance, again, I just blogged a couple of times about the situation in Poland. Poland, World War II didn't work out for Poland, right? They weren't able to rescue him, and guys like Cocke who walked the line, he went and helped in China, for instance. That's why he got rewarded by the Chinese nationalists. But they didn't win that one. And China went communist. Well, it's the same thing for Poland, man. Market Garden, the operation, the military, who knows what's going on? The Poles have never received proper recognition for World War II because they were inconvenient. It's only now that they're starting to write about, how 303 Kosciuszko Squadron saved the British ass in Battle of Britain, okay? Anyway, this book, Prelude to Terror, at a certain point, General Cocke was over. He happened to be traveling, and he was in on business or whatever he was doing. And he had the Koreans there. The Koreans were there. They were ready to talk. And General Cocke, my impression from that deposition, these books and this and that he was a guy that if all these people behind the scenes couldn't agree and nobody could agree, he had the brains and the toughness to get in there and negotiate. As he said, I'm a guy who can get things done. And he was there, and the Bush people didn't call him back, you know. The neocons. And that has become the way that you're in the service of the country, and some people are just called political generals. And some guys want to win and get it done. Flynn would be one of them. Okay, the most hated Flynn. Oh my God, he's in trouble with Mueller. I mean, he wanted to win. You know, he was the intelligence head of the JSOC, and then head of the the military's version of the CIA. You know, the DIA. I think it's so many acronyms, but he was, you know, the military equivalent of the head of those guys. I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to reveal that I know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, so he called out and he said, you know, why are we funding the ISIS? And the Obama guys went crazy on Flynn. I don't know how the general got backed into a wall that he had to be a part of that deposition. It was something that some South African company got sued, and you know, he had to do it. Unfortunately, he passed away not too long on that. And you almost get the idea. I hope you do read that deposition, Skywalker 1279, because you almost get the idea at the end. It's like, yeah, you asked quite enough questions. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't die of natural causes, but it's weird. He passed on not too long after that deposition, which you might be kind of right. Maybe the public doesn't have the right to maybe know about the Hammer project, but it got out in certain ways. My impression was that that massive sum, that money that was supposed to be probably for defense, whatever, just evaporated into the banks. I hope I'm not going to get killed for figuring that out. Or did I figure that out? I don't know. I'm drifting, but my point here is, you know, and I'm answering to your question the best I can. You know, of course you're mad at me. I'm doing, you know, impressions of the guy because I think he's awesome. So, you know, and respect or disrespect of the generals, really, and, you know, I beg your pardon if you think I'm wrong about this, is from the press, you know. So I think they were hammering. The press was hammering Patton and MacArthur during World War II at times. You know, I'm well aware that Cocke was a friend of MacArthur, a trusted friend, and that he helped guys who were, you know, mind controlled basically prisoners in Korea, and he did. The guy just kept serving and serving, and he was a guy that they needed to call. I even referred to him kind of like a Mycroft home guys, and problems that they couldn't handle, you know. What are these guys doing now in the interest of the country? I'm not going to say who I voted for, by the way. So if you're watching this tape, don't rat me out. I didn't say I voted for him, but you know, people got to realize, you know, that these people are involving themselves in politics. You know, and I guess I'm saying that Flynn wanted to get things done. General Stanley McChrystal wanted to get it done in Afghanistan, because what is the only humane thing you can do in warfare is win and then bring the boys home, right? But we're there forever. So if you're saying we don't have a right, well, again, then how long are you going to let the boys be deployed, you know? Is this going to go on forever? I'm like, you know, if somebody sees this YouTube, you can say this Stich character is not a patriot or whatever. Well, ask yourself, you know, how long do you want to be deployed And at what point in certain areas is the budget gouging the American people? You know, and all these private contractors and stuff, you know. If you're from Blackwater, whatever you call it now, are you going to get on here and go, how dare you question Cocke and stuff like that? No, I'm with Cocke. I think genuinely that McChrystal wanted to win and get the boys home. What does he get for it? Compared to me, you're mad at me for doing one imitation of General Cocke. How about McChrystal? He's got an entire Netflix series with Brad Pitt and these movie stars, you know, making fun of McChrystal. So then what are they over there for? You know, oh, it's hopeless. Oh, we're still deployed. You know, so the fact of the matter is the civilian population is separate more than ever, too, from the military. And as far as these other guys with the top secret clearance and everything, they've gone and made it into an entire society now, you know, in Washington. There's a documentary, Top Secret America, or something, where, you know, there's well over 1 million people around in Maryland that have secret clearances, and, you know, they're probably just watching YouTubes and like this, and, you know, and then sending out guys and trolling you, right? Or they let you know, or you just not allowed to talk about it. You know, the civilians are watching CNN and Fox, and just you know, it's just going on. And okay, and it's like they have no choice. You know, okay, well, it's a volunteer military, and you know, it's there's aspects of social engineering, and you know, it's seen as a place where identity politics goes to first, you know, whatever. But, you know, soon we won't be able to have little arguments on YouTube and Facebook about this stuff, because it's just going to be seen as unacceptable. But I digress. Still check out the book Crimes of Patriots. See what you think. But again, it's I believe that, you know, is he an evil guy? No, but Whitney is from the left. So, and Prelude to Terror, I think, was more moderate. Mr. Torrento, and I think his wife is an author too. And how did we get onto this? Oh yeah, you were saying I insulted the general. No, I'm a big fan. Basically. Is anybody above imitation and stuff? Well, again, you might be right, but I'll give you, you know, they had really nothing on him, and they've got him in that book, Crimes of Patriots, and it very much implied that, you know, he was a dirty dealer by being in with the Nugan Han. You know what I mean? All right, well, I hope this didn't make it worse. I never said anything about any tape. If I did, there's no tape. It's just a deposition that went around the internet years ago, because I think that British economist guy, David, last name I left in the liner notes, he's got a cool site. He put the deposition out and he went out, you know, so it's somewhat known. How known, I don't know. I don't, you know, it's all basically, yeah, you're right, you know, stuff that the people aren't supposed to be talking about or whatever, but I would argue it's changed now that because these people have insinuated themselves into the public and into the media anyway. Okay, basically intelligence professionals across the board are pushing the idea that the Russians fixed the election, a nuclear capable Russia now fixed the election, and they're continually, you know, insulting them about that and going after them, and everybody now, and it's, you know, on the media, so everybody just believes, you know, there's about 10 books out on Russia fixed the election, you know, Russia's incredible cyber capability. I just saw a movie starring Mark Wahlberg, where they blew away a group of the FSB and they're gonna launch weapons and everything. I mean, what's his name said that was on your watch anyway. You know, if you're going after me about the Crimea, Obama was president. You know, if you're going after Trump guy and his guys about fixing the election, his administration wasn't in place that time, and all these intelligence professional guys that should have been stopping it, they're like, oh, we're looking into it, and thus far they got nothing. Now, at the time of making this YouTube, maybe tomorrow Mueller is going to reveal that he's got FSB and they're working with Trump and blah 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 blah, and he borrowed money from them. The Russians are in Manhattan doing business. The fact of the matter is that Kennedy, even during the darkest times, had a line open to Russia, and as much as they were going at it toe to toe, they had some sort of mutual respect for each other. And that got hairy at that missile crisis, and they worked it out. Now they say we don't even have that, or under Obama it got eliminated. Now Trump is allegedly, you know, I mean, he's a businessman. He's not buddy really with anybody, except if it's to his benefit, which could be argued could be good for the country, kind of a realpolitik thing. Blah, blah, blah. Where was I going with that? Yeah, it's just, you know, regardless of whether you hate Trump or not, you know, anybody who listens to my little vlog here should know that there's a danger in this situation with Russia, and a guy like General Cocke would know that, man. Not only that, you know, is it unpatriotic to say the truth that they had done a lot of the nasty fighting in World War II? Stalingrad and Kursk. Those are the biggest battles known to mankind, you know. And I'm saying this as a Polish American whose ancestors or pretty much got whacked by Stalin. They had to fight under them in the war. Slavic people won a lot of that war. And for their part, tough guys like Cocke, on their end, they helped to win it too, big time. All right, Skywalker, take care, buddy. Give me some feedback.